Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Wisteria here. So we are now going to venture into The Little Mermaid. But it's an extract from the Hans Christian Andersen version. The little mermaid went out from her garden and took the road to forming whirlpools, behind which the sorceress lived. She had never been that way before. Neither flowers nor grass grew there. Nothing but bare grey, sandy ground stretched out to the whirlpool, where the water, like foaming mill-wheels, whirled round everything that it seized and cast it into the fathomless deep. Through the mists of these crushing whirlpools, the little mermaid was obliged to pass, to reach the dominions of the sea which, and also, for a long distance, the only road lay right across a quantity of warm, bubbling mire, called by the witch a turf moor. Beyond this stood her house, in the centre of a strange forest, in which all the trees and flowers were polypi, half animals and half plants. They looked like serpents with 100 heads growing out of the ground. The branches were long slimy arms, with fingers like flexible worms, mowing limb after limb from their root to the top. All that could be reached in the sea they seized. They held fast, so that it never escaped from their clutches. The little mermaid was so alarmed at what she saw that she stood still, and her heart beat with fear. She was very nearly turning back, but she thought of the prince and of the human soul for which she longed, and her courage returned. She fastened her long flowing hair around her head, so that the polypi might not seize hold of it. Then she darted forward as a fish shoots through water, between the supple arms and fingers of the ugly polypi, which were stretched out on each side of her. She saw that each held in its grasp something it had seized with its numerous little arms, as if they were iron bands. The white skeletons of human beings who had perished at sea and had sunk down into the deep waters. Skeletons of land animals, lots of oars, rudders, a chest of ships were lying tightly grasped by each of the polypi whom which they had kept down in the deep. There was even a little mermaid whom they had caught and strangled, and this seemed the most shocking of all to the little princess. She now came to a space of marshy ground in the wood, where large, fat water snakes were rolling in the mite, showing their ugly drab-coloured bodies. In the midst of this spot stood a house, built with the bones of shipwrecked human beings. There sat the sea witch, allowing a toad to eat from her mouth. She called the ugly water snakes her little chickens and allowed them to crawl all over her. "I know what you want," said the sea witch. "It is very stupid of you, but you shall have your way. and it will bring you sorrow, my pretty princess. You want to get rid of your fish's tail, to have two supports instead of it, like human beings on earth, so that the young prince may fall in love with you, and that you may have an immortal soul. And then the witch laughed so loud, so disgustingly, that the toad and the snakes fell to the ground and lay there wriggling about. You were just in time, said the witch, for after sunrise tomorrow I should not be able to help you till the end of another year. I will prepare a magic potion for you, with which you must swim to land tomorrow before sunrise, and sit down on the shore and drink it. Your tail will then disappear and shrink up into what mankind call legs. You will feel great pain, as if a sword were passing through you. But all you will say, you are the prettiest human being that they have ever saw. You will still have the same floating gracefulness of movement, and no dancer will ever tread so lightly. But at every step that you put to the floor, you will feel like you are wearing sharp knives, and that the blood must flow. If you will bear all of this, I will help you. Yes, I will, said the princess, in a not-so-sure voice, as she thought of the prince and the immortal soul. But think again, said the witch. For once, your shape, you want it to become like a human being. Think again for once. You can never be a mermaid. You will never return through that water to your sisters, to your father's palace again. And if you do not win the love of this so-called prince, then you are willing to forget everything that you leave behind. Are you willing to understand? Are you willing to allow that there will be a priest that will join your hands to marry you and the human? Then you will never have an immortal soul. The first morning after being married, your heart may break, and you will become foam on the crest of waves. I will do it, said the little mermaid, and she became pale as death, clearly scared of what the witch was saying. But I must be paid also, said the witch, in a more calming tone this time. And it is not a trifle that I ask. You have the sweetest voice of any who dwell here in the depths of the sea, and you believe that you'll be able to charm the prince with it also. But this voice you must give to me, the best thing you possess. Will I have this for the price of my draft? My own blood must be mixed with it, that it may be as sharp as a two-edged sword. But if you take my voice, said the little mermaid, what is left of me? Your beautiful form, your graceful walk, and your expressive eyes. Surely with these, you can enchant a man's heart. Well, have you lost your courage, your nerve? Put out your little tongue that I may cut it off, and then you shall have the powerful draught. Oh, it shall be, said the little mermaid. Then the witch placed the cauldron on the fire to prepare the magic potion. Cleanliness is a good thing, she said, scouring the vessel with snakes, which she had tied together in a large knot. Then she pricked herself in the breast and let the black blood drop into it. The steam that rose formed itself into a horrible shape that no one could look at them without fear. Every moment the witch threw something else into this vessel, and when it began to boil, the sound was like the weeping of a crocodile. When at last the magic potion was ready, it looked like the clearest water. "There it is for you," said the witch. Then she cut off the mermaid's tongue, so that she became dumb and would never speak again or sing. "If the polypi should seize hold of you as you return through the wood," said the witch, "throw over them a few drops of the potion, and their fingers will be torn into 1,000 pieces." But the little mermaid had no occasion to do this, for the polypi sprang back into terror when they caught the sight of a glittering potion, which shone in her hand like a twinkling star. So she passed quickly through the wood, and through the marsh, and between the rushing whirlpools. She saw that in her father's palaces the torches and the ballrooms were extinguished, and all within asleep. But she did not venture to go into them, for now she was dumb, and going to lead them forever. She felt as if her heart would break. She stole into the garden, took a flower from the flower beds of each of her sisters, kissed their hand 1,000 times towards the palace, and then rose up through the dark blue waters to go spend her life as a human. The end. Now, bear in mind that though she did go up there to spend her life as a human, every step she took on her feet was costing her so much pain, like metal shards through her, so that's really bad. And the fact that she didn't have a voice anymore, and she did actually need that voice, is also very bad. And there are different endings to The Little Mermaid, because there's the good ending and there's the other ending. So you do decide which one you want. But watch out for the twisted version, because it is definitely soon coming. Please hit the like, share if you can, and if you've not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Thank you for listening. Many blessings.